Greetings and palpitations, my little chupacabras. I am Shredlord.
Necrotic.
Jammin.
And we are here to bring you yet another excellent Thralls of Metal album review.
So yet another one that came out on the 28th of April that we wanted to go over, and saw it mentioned a lot in the comments, so we figured why not go over it, plus it's also on 20 bucks spin. We generally love that label. So we are going to go over the debut EP from Lunar Chamber, Shambhallic Vibrations.
Shambhallic.
Shamalama-ding-dong.
There's like an H in there.
Shambhallic.
Shambhallic.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Shambhallic.
Watch us struggle. Isn't it amazing? Again, this also came out on the 28th of April, again on 20 bucks spin. Span formed in 2018 in Atlanta, Georgia. This is their debut EP. Features members of Tomarum and Proliferation. I'm not super familiar with those. I believe he's played them for me before, and we listen to a lot of music.
Yep.
It gets confusing. But this was described as progressive death doom. Man, it's a lot more than that. There's a lot going on in here. This is a really, really interesting EP just in terms of stylistic jumps, like, everywhere.
It's almost like a kaleidoscope. You're looking through the lens and there's about 5 or 6 really cool things, and it just keeps rotating over to mesmerize you throughout this EP.
It's definitely progressive. I would 100% say that.
Absolutely.
The song structures scream prog metal. It's very atmospheric, very distant, very comparable to bands like Void Ceremony, Cosmic Putrefaction, even like maybe The Faceless at times. But man, the influences are kind of all over the place because, like, legit from track to track, it can really change. And that is excluding the 2 interludes on here, which are cool little calm pieces to kind of set the mood. But the 3 songs on here, the 3 actual long songs, are vastly different from one another.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about the intros is they don't necessarily bring in the songs that actually follow them. They're just kind of pieces of noise that are there.
Yeah, I mean, it's moody, it's more synthy and like clean guitars.
Very quick.
But they cut off really soon.
Very quick.
It doesn't kind of like segue into the next song very well. But, I mean, I suppose it does kind of set some of the mood because...
I mean, it at least sets the stage for the first song, Spirit, Body, and the Seeing Self, with the small melodic intro in that song that comes off of the intro prior to it. And then it kicks into a very layered, very rich, very full, lush... I almost compare it immediately to bands like Inanimate Existence, gnarly growls, and some blast beats.
Yeah, the growls in here are really solid. Like, just deep, brutal death metal growls. You occasionally get some like more chanted cleans and an occasional scream, but most of the time it's these really brutal growls throughout. But this track is kind of like just spiraling chaos. It's very distant and the transitions are very sharp, but it's loaded with atmosphere. Like there's like these big lush synths in the background that really kind of push their way forward. And I guess like the low end on this, like you got a lot of cool stuff, like not only with like, the pummeling drum work on here.
Featuring Kevin Paradis, you know him from Benighted. I think he was in Aborted for a small moment. And a slew of other definite death metal blasty bands. He's a fuck of a drummer.
Oh no, he's doing a lot of killer shit in here. But you also have fretless bass work that is all over here and contributes a lot to the melody. Like there's almost as many like crazy bass runs as there are like crazy fucking like riffs on here.
Yeah, and when the riffs are there, they're pretty good, man. You don't actually hear a lot of riffing until the last track. Forgive me, folks. 3 crystalline blessed light and flows from violent mountains into lunar chambers. But I digress. Yeah, there's not a lot of riffing that goes on until that last song, but when the riffs are there, man, they're nice and fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And if anything, I could have used a little bit more here, but kind of like Necrotic said, each song almost feels like a different entity, so I don't know if they would even think about doing something like that, but... I don't know. Like,
it's kind of weird to get a hold on this EP. Like, I mean, it's, just shy of a half an hour long, but like, say, like almost the bulk of it is that last track because it's almost 13 minutes long. But when you get down to like the Bodhi Tree, notably more aggressive, more like death metal riffy.
Brutal.
Like there's a ton of brutality of that song, and it interweaves some of the progginess in there. Honestly, it's my favorite track on here because you kind of get a little bit of everything they do really well up until you get down to the last track, which is a completely different track in itself too. a lot of this kind of felt like a sampler platter. Like, first EP out, new band. They haven't been around for very long, like, 2018. I mean, it was kind of a while ago, but still at the same time, it really wasn't. It feels like they're kind of still picking the direction they're going with this because, I mean, even saying progressive death doom does not cover it because, you have those elements in there, but there's also like black metal. There's also weird ambient stuff.
They interject so many different things. Even from a songwriting structure, you'll be in the middle of something, and then they'll just interject quick things with the guitars or the bass, or a quick stop or a quick little lick here or a quick little bass jam here, and then back onto the song. So, from a songwriting structure, it is kind of proggy in the sense that there is absolutely no rhyme or reason as far as basic structure goes. They just kind of take it as it comes, and take these turkey basters and squirt a little thing here, squirt a little thing there, squirt a little thing there.
Lots of squirt.
But isn't that what an EP is supposed to be, though? It's supposed to be like here's what we do. There's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I think what Necrotic's saying, though, is by doing that, it almost doesn't seem to have a direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the band overall is kind of uncertain of the direction.
This EP kind of forks in like 3 different directions here. So like if I was to like predict the direction of like the next EP or next LP, like it'd be kind of hard to say which way they're going to go because they've done 3 different things pretty fucking well here. Because we get down to the last track, I'm not saying that whole fucking thing.
I did once. You got
Crystalline. That's the word I'm going to say.
Yep.
That is, again, almost 13 minutes long, and this is where the death doom stuff gets to be more appropriate. This is the slowest track on here. It's way more atmospheric. Like the synths almost kind of take center stage on a lot of this.
Yeah.
Big, doomy, like single chugs and open riffs. Very like cosmic
Sci-fi.
fucking, yeah. Like
I said it sounded like Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. I was saying like just like an Italian knockoff of Alien that probably popped up in like 1981.
Mamma mia, it's an alien!
No, you just burst out of my chest. Oh my God!
Give him some of the cannoli. Tell him to take it home to Mama.
I'm a spraying a marinara everywhere.
Oh, she like it the way my dick tastes.
I think we're talking about like 2 different movies.
Yeah, sorry. I must have ordered the wrong one.
But yeah, like drawing more comparisons to like Hooded Menace, Esoteric, Funeral, which is kind of interesting because this was mixed by Greg Chandler of Esoteric and then mastered by Colin Marston of Dysrhythmia, Krallis, a ton of different projects, and a hell of a fucking studio guy. So production, I think, really kind of shines on here just in terms of like every possible avenue. Like they even make good use of like empty space on here, which is generally filled by creepy, ominous synths.
And the other thing that I like that they did on here is sometimes they would just flat out jam. Like there's sections where the fretless bass is just playing some nasty shit. Or the guitars will come in and do some really cool melodies. Now, I'm not sure if it's 1 guitar player or 2 guitar players.
I think it's 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and if you ever watch this review, I'd be interested to know. I feel like you like Steve Vai, and the reason I say that is, first of all, I fucking absolutely adore Steve Vai. I think that's a great thing. Some of the melodies I hear sound very reminiscent, or even some of the phrasing. Now, there's this nice solo at the end of Crystalline, where he does this nice, real build-up riff. He does it twice, just fucking blazing. It adds a lot of epic, atmospheric things. But everything from side of that kind of gives me like a Vai-ish feel, and I absolutely love it. I thought it was a really cool thing to have interjected into something like this. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely scorching lead on this song. Like it's long, it's drawn out, lots of interesting phrasing, lots of really fucking insane shreddy bits too. Like, oof.
Yeah, there's a drum solo in the close to the end of the Bodhi tree.
Yeah, we don't care about drummers. That's dumb.
Well, listen here.
I'm just kidding.
Bucko.
We love our drummers, especially when they tip them for bringing us the pizza on Friday or Saturday night.
Now, as much as I like this last track, it was kind of cool to actually hear the Death Doom come out because the entire time I was listening to this was like, it said Death Doom on Archives, and maybe they were off, but they weren't entirely. But this song, in terms of its construction, is very odd. Like, there's a lot of dropouts to like synths, and it does it multiple times. Like it leads in with synths, sets up the spacey atmosphere, which that's cool, like setting the mood and everything. But then there are sections where everything drops out and it's just a kind of a long synth run, and then it goes into like a blast beat section, super heavy. Then it drops out again, goes into another section. There's a lot of dropouts, and it kind of kills the momentum.
It works in movements. It's like they start with deathdoom, and then we get synths, and then it goes death metal, and then we get synths, and then the proggy jam, and then synths, and then Hooded Tangerine Menace.
Hooded Tangerine Menace.
Yeah, it's just sort of an odd song. Like, it's really well played. Like, the musicianship is fantastic. It's just sort of the setup of the song. It's just very odd. And that was kind of my whole thing on this EP. It's kind of hard to get a hold on to, namely because you have a lot of stylistic shifts on arguably a short offering. And again, like we said, like, who knows where they're going to go? I feel like this whole thing was kind of like testing the waters in terms of like which direction they're going to go, which is, you know, probably a smart thing to do in an EP rather than an album where it's, you know, you expect it to be a little bit more uniform. So overall, I'm going to give this 3 stars. I dig it. I think it's really well done. The musicality and, you know, instrumentation I think is absolutely fantastic. A lot of it comes down to sort of the odd unevenness of the EP when it comes down to like knocking it down a bit, because it's kind of hard to get a hold on this, and they do like 3 vastly different songs really well, so it's kind of hard to tell where they're going to go with this. The Bodhi Tree is probably my favorite one on here just because it's riffy and it combines all the progginess that they do so well on here. And I think that is like a standout track. I think maybe stripped down or rearranged, Crystalline would be like slightly better, or at least flow a little bit better. But I like this band. I like what they do. I just think there's like a little bit of like fine tuning to do. I mean, they have the musical chops. I think it just comes down to like arranging things maybe a little bit differently. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, I dig it. If you like, again, Cosmic Putrefaction, Void Ceremony, shit like that, you're probably going to dig the shit out of this.
I'm going to agree here, and I'm going to go with 3 out of 5 as well. Never heard this band, never knew what to expect. Only 3 songs to kind of dip our toes in, so to speak. But I thought it was very interesting to listen to. There is so many different things going on that it definitely holds your interest. You never really know what they're going to do next or where it's going to go next. The musicianship was very well done, very well executed. Everything about this album was very well done. It was just a small sampling of what's, I'm assuming, going to come out later. As far as the intros go, maybe they didn't necessarily need to be there, but another one of my favorite death metal bands of all time does weird intros. Morbid Angel, right, John?
Yes.
Yeah. Morbid Angel does intros like that sometimes too, and, you know, sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't, but I just love that I was able to figure out a way to bring Morbid Angel into this. So, yeah, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm wearing the hat.
I know. You hit them right in the altars.
Right in the, right in the 6.
Let's play traffic. I'm going to agree with these gentlemen. It's a 3 as well for me. These guys know what they're doing musically, and that's really cool. I don't know if they know necessarily the direction that they want to go in, but the beauty of a sampler platter is you get 3 really nice different things that are all pretty tasty in themselves. Spirit Body and the Seeing Self is a little bit more noodly than it is riffy, and that's kind of cool. If you're going to be tech and you're going to noodle, you might as well do it well. The Bodhi Tree definitely would be more dark and sinister and riffy and all the things we like about death metal. I am a little bit confused by the last track, but that's okay. Overall, they did really well at what they do. Yeah, the production's really sweet. Again, the songs for what they are really cool. If you're a fan of bands like Cosmic Putrefaction or Anata, Inanimate Existence, Beyond Creation, Void Ceremony, you're probably really going to dig this. So go out and check it out for yourself, because that's what you should do anyway.
So, if you like this video, do us a favor, huh? Why don't you give us a thumbs up on that video, and if you're not subscribed already, how about you bring your ass on over and join our community, because we'd absolutely love you.
One of us.
One of us,
Michael.
One of us. One of us. Yeah.
We also have a Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there, as well as our store, which we will be loading up on stuff. We have, again, some ideas for some different merch. Probably be t-shirts again, but who knows? We might do some other shit, too.
I think condoms and toilet paper should be in the works.
Grenades!
Rolling papers.
Yes.
I feel like you ignored me when I said grenades. I'm a little disappointed.
I just don't think there'll be a hit with the kids. Kids' parents.
One hit.
Or someone will hit.
A single hit.
Yes.
And then we're sued.
Yep.
Yeah, then we're sued.
I mean, yeah, all right.
Last but not least, of course, thank you. Thank you and you and you. Thank Thank you all for continuing to stop by, for doing things like liking and subscribing. Keeps us moving. We absolutely adore the fact that you all are so involved with this. We fucking love Thralls of Metal. It's become a gigantic part of all of our lives.
Yeah, totally agree. This is absolutely amazing. We love doing this shit. Got plenty more content coming for you. And Shred, send us off.
Big dating game kiss. Da 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 da.